Lori Campacarney, and I am a certified integrative nutrition health coach and wellness educator. And just welcome to being here and making this step to be healthy at work. So today we're going to be going through a lot of different things, reviewing 10 steps. And they're my top 10 tips of how you can be healthier at work. We're going to be talking a little bit about nutrition and a little bit about wellness in general. And the reason why I am up here and not in the audience today is because I used to work the corporate world for 20 years. I sat at my computer a lot. I did sales and marketing, and then I was in an accident and I had all these headaches and I was not able to get healed the medical route. And in my mindset, I kept thinking they are the ones who are supposed to heal me. They're going to give me the medication, they're going to give me the tools. And it got to the point that nothing was helping me, and I took control of my own health. And I started to research, what can I do to heal? And my first thing I did was I started to make smoothies in the morning, and I went, wow, my headaches, this is amazing. Why are they less? You know, and then I started just to read every nutrition book out there, and then started yoga and meditation, and my life has completely changed, and it had to change because I need to have steps for me to be healthy and that I can be effective in how I work every day and be with my family. So it was this big aha moment in my life to say, why wasn't anyone telling me this? Why is this something that's not standard, that we should know what to eat? We should know how to have a better lifestyle so we have more energy, we have less pain, and we can think clearer. So I want to let you all know, I mean, this is something that is possible. This is possible to feel better in our lives. So after we review the 10 simple steps, we're going to do a little chair yoga, because this is something that is real important to just get up throughout the day and do some stretches. I also teach yoga at a yoga studio, and I teach chair yoga at different offices. And at the end of the class, I would like everyone to think about one or two either steps or tips that you've heard today that maybe you can put into action. And think about like that low-hanging fruit. What's the easiest thing for you to do? Maybe it's something you've been successful in the past, but you haven't been doing it lately, or maybe it's something you're already doing, but you would like to have more of it. But we want to have usually that first step being something that's easy to do. And then you're going to go, I'm so great, I'm good, I can do that next step, and that next step. And it's something that is just a lifelong journey of being healthy. So the first step is eat real food. This is a huge one. We are just inundated by the media that we should be eating all this processed food and it's good for us, right? No, we need to avoid products that we have ingredients that we don't know what's in them. So if you do buy anything in a package or in a box, because it's hard to avoid that, right? We do like to have that convenience. Really look at the ingredient list and just see, okay, do I know what these words are? Because if you don't, your body probably doesn't know how to assimilate that either. So just really be careful of what you are looking at. A lot of these processed foods, they tend to be highly processed, so they lack the nutrients. So our bodies are craving nutrients because we want that energy. And there's this new form of malnutrition that's going on in America. And it's people who are overweight that are malnutritioned. And because we keep eating, because we're craving nutrients, but we're not giving it to our body. And you don't have to be 100% perfect. I mean, I eat healthy 80 to 90% of the time, and it's okay, because then if you eat healthy the majority of the time and you're at a birthday party and there's a cupcake, go ahead, have it, and don't feel guilty. Because so often you do something, you go, oh my goodness, I'm so awful, right? I feel so bad. And that's not good for us either. We want to lift ourselves up and encourage to have these good steps in our life. And when you eat real food, so many times when we have a chronic issue going on with us, where we have pain, we have some discomfort, a lot of times just eating a clean diet just cleans it up. And so it's really nice that if you might be on some medications, you may be able to help yourself heal from certain things. And I don't want anyone else to have to go through a tragedy like I did, to have this huge wake-up call. I was eating pizzas, I was eating McDonald's, I was 20 pounds heavier at that time. You don't need to wait till you have a diagnosis. Because that's what so many people do, right? We wait till you hear about you have cancer or diabetes, and then we go, okay, now what do I do to help? But prevention is the best way to be healthy instead of waiting till you get that diagnosis. So when we eat crappy food, what do we feel like? Crap. Yep. And why do we do it? Because it's easy and it's that immediate gratification, right? But then later you're like, I don't have the energy. I just don't feel good. So changing how we eat changes how we feel. And that's an important note for everyone to hear, is that what we eat affects our mood. And when we change the way we eat and our lifestyle, it directly changes the course of your life. Your life will be completely different, eating healthy and leading a healthy lifestyle. Step number 2, learn to cook. This is one that I really had to work on. So when you cook at home, what's so great about it is that it allows you to control the portion sizes. It controls what kind of ingredients you put in your food, so you can focus on those high density foods that have all those nutrients in it. And if you learn how to roast, how to bake, and how to eat the real good raw foods, it really can boost the flavors. And so eating real foods and learning how to cook, you're not giving up anything. It's tasty and you feel good also. And typically it saves you a lot of money and it also controls your waistline. It's fun because you can go on Pinterest today and you can get so many new recipes that it's always something that you can try. When I cook, I try to cook for like 3 to 10 meals. I'd make, triple, double batch. I freeze it all. So then you don't have to cook so often. So meal prep. This is a huge one. When we prep our food in advance, when we know what we're going to be doing, what we're going to be eating throughout the day, it helps us to stay on track. So choosing even just like one day a week to prep all of your lunches and snacks for the work week really helps set up for a good work week. So, and this could be, putting all your meals in separate containers, or maybe just chopping up everything. And then every day you're like, okay, what do I want in my salad today? I'm going to make it with the hard-boiled egg. I'm going to put it with the peppers, whatever you want to do. And I put glass on here just for the fact of if you do make meals that you want to microwave, or maybe meals that you're going to freeze and then defrost or put in the oven, glass is always the best thing, because if you microwave plastic, sometimes the chemicals can leak into your food, and we want to avoid any kind of toxic chemicals into our body. So it is an investment at first, but it's something that you're going to have for the rest of your life, these glass containers. And have fun with it. You can have a lot of fun with prepping your food. A lot of times, I will put on some like Netflix movie, or maybe I'll just do quiet and be in a meditative state as I chop. But you can invite a friend over or a neighbor. You can catch up on a podcast that you've been wanting to listen to. Maybe even if you have a coworker that's also doing these prepping meals, you say, okay, Mondays and Wednesdays, Jan brings them to work, and Tuesdays and Thursdays, Lisa brings it to work. And so then you're only prepping half the time, and you have something fun and new to eat. And, a lot of times employees are always looking for new and fun ways to do some bonding at work, some team building. So instead of doing the same old thing, maybe going to a cooking class together, maybe doing some food prep together. That's always a lot of fun. And I've heard that one department here does a salad once a week, and I love that idea because it's such a great way to prep that everyone just signs up and brings 1 or 2 ingredients, and then you all brought the food in and you can make your own. And don't forget to bring healthy dressings, to make your own dressings, because they are so easy. And again, when you look at Pinterest or go online, you can find so many that are just olive oil, vinegar, maybe adding some honey, some spices, and you have the good fats, because it's the dressings in the salad that we really need to watch out for. So for meal prep, these are just some easy ideas. So just to think, it doesn't need to be complicated. You can, and it doesn't need to just be a salad, but you can, there's so many different salad recipes out there, but just really thinking about what's your lettuce, what's your veggies, what's your protein, and then what's your dressing. It's as simple as that. And there's so many different dishes that you can heat up. Like I said, with the Learn to Cook, you can make a double, triple batch of soup or anything like that. And then you have really fun things that you can mix up your work week with. But this is just even grabbing, you know, brown rice, sweet potatoes, or quinoa. That's one of your portions. Having a protein, maybe adding chicken or beans, and then adding some veggies. So you can have it for dinner, you can have it for lunch, so you're setting yourself up really for the entire day. And when you're thinking about meal prep, think about, when do you slip? Like for me, it's around 2 to 3 o'clock, and I'm like, ooh, I really am looking for something sweet. So for me, it's like, when you think about meal prep, do that time first. So when do you slip? If you slip in the afternoon, then make sure that you have snacks. Bring an apple with some almond butter. Something that's sweet, if that's what you're craving is sweet, and then something with some protein also to help keep you full. And eat a healthy breakfast. So many of us are busy in the morning, right? And a lot of times we leave the house, we might not eat breakfast, or maybe it's just a small breakfast. But this really, we want to have most of your food in the morning and at lunch, and then have the smallest meal of the day at dinner. So how we begin our day is really going to set us up for success or for failure. So if we start our day with something sugary and maybe something highly caffeinated like coffee, you know, what's going to happen is that we get on this roller coaster of this crash and crave. So we feel really good for a little bit, right? Because we just had a lot of sweets, we just had some coffee, and then what happens? We come down. And what do you need to have again? You need to have more caffeine, you need to have more sugar to go back up. And so when you can start your day with something healthy, with a lot of nutrients in it, it's gonna make you feel energized throughout the entire day. And it's gonna help you get off that crash and crave roller coaster. We don't need caffeine throughout the day. We can actually get through without it. So smoothies to the rescue. I love smoothies. I have one every day. I call it my medication because I just don't feel right when I don't have all of those nutrients going through my body in the morning. But smoothies can be very simple. I think a lot of people go, oh, I don't have a recipe. But it's really whatever you have on hand. And just thinking about, you know, maybe a non-dairy milk. It could be a coconut milk, an almond milk, something that's unsweetened. Putting in some fruits. The one that I always have in is my frozen blueberries because they're great for brain health. And then adding in some veggies. So many places now you can buy the power blends of greens. You can get them at Sam's Club, Costco, Aldi, all those places that are spinach, chard, and kale. Those are the 3 most nutritious of the greens. Grabbing in some handfuls and putting in that. And then some protein. And the protein could be a protein powder, or maybe it's going to be protein from the greens or from flaxseed, chia seeds, whatever it is. With the protein powder, that is one place that I did a lot of learning, because what I was using when I first started, and I thought I was being healthy because I got it at a health food store, right, had sugar in it. So look for anything with those words like sucralose, dextrose, fructose, any of those OS words, that means sugar. And we don't need to have that first thing in the morning. It's going to be sweet enough by putting the natural sweetness of fruit in it. And then if you want to add some healthy fats, adding in a tablespoon of coconut oil, adding in an avocado, something our brain really needs to have those healthy fats now. What we learned in the 80s is now said with research that we do need this in our bodies. So, and you say, okay, I'm so busy in the morning and I am not a morning person, so I prep my smoothies before I go to bed. I put everything in the blender, it's all ready to go. So all I have to do in the morning is blend it. And sometimes I have done it where I just make a bunch of freezer bags and I put everything in it. So I put the protein powder, I put everything, so all I have to do is the night before I put it in the fridge, thaws out just a little bit, so then you can just dump it all in and you're ready to go for that day. You can buy protein powder, I believe at most grocery stores you can get it as well, but definitely do some research, and you can email me the ingredient list too, and I can look at it. I use like a green protein powder that I put in, so it is real food that is in the protein powder. Because there's a lot of our greens have a lot of protein in it. So and also I like to stay away from dairy. So if you are one of those that are intolerant to dairy, which a lot of people are, stay away from the whey protein is another good tip. So step number 5 is to have a plan, right? What happens when we don't have a plan throughout the day? We end up going to McDonald's, right? We end up doing something that we're gonna feel bad about. So, whether you bring your snacks and your lunch to work or you're planning to go out to a restaurant, just think about your whole day. And it doesn't really take a lot of time just to put some thought into what you wanna do, just to keep yourself on track. But if you go to a restaurant, we are in this great age that we can look at the menus ahead of time when we're not hungry, right? So, right when you get to work and you're full from your breakfast, your good smoothie or your egg bake, then go look online and pick out what you're gonna order for lunch. This is gonna be, whatever is gonna be the healthiest, the most real food thing. If you want to indulge, because it's okay to indulge every now and then, right? Ask a coworker if you wanna share a meal or pack it up, half of it, because we all know the portions in America are not one portion, right? When you order a meal, it's usually for 2. And always just having something on hand for emergencies. So buying those nuts with the almonds and the walnuts, the good nuts, having those at your desk so that if all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so hungry and I don't have time for lunch, or I don't have time for a snack, and then all of a sudden someone brings in all these cookies, right? People are always bringing in things to work, right? And so just think about, okay, I have some nice sweet tea that I can have instead. I have something, so just if I forgot and I don't have anything, you can do that. And if you're going out to dinner or you have a reception you're going to after work, thinking about, okay, you don't know really what's going to be served there, but maybe filling yourself up with a salad or some raw veggies before you go, so that when you go to these receptions, you're not going to be I'm so hungry, I could eat anything. And this is in our personal life too, right? You go to a barbecue, and if you get there really hungry, we eat the chips, we eat all of the junk food first. So just filling yourself up with some of the nice veggies or salad. And when you are going to a potluck or going to a barbecue, be the one that brings the dish that you want to eat, Bring something that is healthy, because then you know that there is something that you'll be able to eat at that barbecue. So even when you have that plan, sometimes life gets in the way, right? And you do end up at a McDonald's, and you're like, you know what, I tried, I thought I was gonna go home for dinner, but then the kids had this going on, and it's like, well, what is the best thing to order? So you can even have a plan for when you don't have a plan, right? So just thinking about what has the most nutrients in it. So these are not anything that I'm gonna say you should have. These are in an emergency. So that fruit and maple oatmeal still has 32 grams of sugar. That's the same as a Snickers bar. So this is not the best item to order, but when I'm looking at what's gonna give you energy and some nutrients, these are gonna be some of the healthiest things for breakfast to have. For lunch or dinner, if you are craving a classic, the cheeseburger, the hamburger, anybody can order a kid's meal. You do not have to be a kid to do that. So then you can get the smaller portions. You can ask for the apples instead of the French fries, and you can ask for the bottle of water. So you're still getting maybe something that you're craving for. But what I really want to help everyone today is to go, why don't I want this? I don't want to have those chemicals that are in that hamburger bun. I don't want to have that feeling of not feeling good. And really any of the salads with the grilled chicken would be a great choice. And the 2 dressings that are the best at McDonald's when I looked at the ingredients are the balsamic vinaigrette and the Italian dressing. So, and there's one thing that I was surprised is that the chicken nuggets were healthier than the chicken selects. And I was thinking, oh, I was being better when we'd be on family trips and I'd be getting the chicken flex because it's chicken breast. But what's made in that coating is a lot of chemicals and a lot of things that can hurt us. So getting moving is the next step. And this is something that it's amazing that we are sitting in our desk a lot of times for 8 or more hours a day, right? We get up in the morning, we sit in our car, we go to work, we sit at work, we sit in our car again, and then we go home and we sit in front of the TV. Our bodies were not made to sit this much. Sitting is now known as the new smoking, that it is a really hard thing on our bodies. And you think, okay, well, I work out at night. That helps a little bit, but it does not solve everything, that we do need to get up and we just need to move around a little bit every single day. So, and when you're tired, what do? A lot of times people sit down and they lay down, and sometimes your body really does need that rest. But if you're at work, take a walk, get up, because energy creates more energy. And I bet if you feel that way, a coworker might too, and they might say, hey, do you want to just walk around the office for 2 minutes? Okay. And it just really is great. And if you have a chance to get outside, that new perspective, getting some sunlight, some good vitamin D is good. And with research, it really does, I mean, there are definitely many different kinds of exercise, but when it talks about during the workday, the most important thing is just not to sit so much. So really any kind of physical activity is going to be good. It's more important than maintaining an exercise program is just to simply just moving around. And a lot of times corporations and organizations invest in the health of their employees because they care, but also because it's really good business. The return on investment is crazy. When people are not being healthy and they're not exercising, they're more likely to be absent from work. They're less likely to be creative. So just being more healthy just helps the business, helps corporations. And think about what you need. What do you need to help you to remember to get up every hour? Because I know I get really wrapped up in my work and I just get focused. I think a lot of us do, right? We just are typing it, we're getting done, and all of a sudden you're like, did really an hour go by? Have I been sitting here for this long? And so it's just recognizing this. So setting a timer. Now with our phones, we can make appointments for ourselves. And maybe you even want to just have a pop-up to say, take a sip of water every hour. And that's going to be your step 1, is to take a sip of water. Step 2 is take a sip of water and take a walk. You know, whatever you think is going to be the best, because each personality is different, and it's recognizing what works for your unique personality. You know, maybe a fluorescent Post-it notes all around your office. But standing at work, you know, if you can, you know, bring in a stand-up desk. I know IKEA has them for like $20, maybe even at home when you do your personal emails. I actually just put a board over my treadmill, you know, and you can just walk like 1 mile an hour, and you're not getting a workout, but you're not sitting. And there's lots of fun ways that your coworkers would probably be very happy that you had this idea. That maybe instead of there's having a meeting that you go and you all sit down again, there are some meetings that you could actually take a walking meeting. And when you are out walking, it is that new perspective. It's bringing that new creativity also to the meeting. Walking with coworkers at lunch. It's not only fun, but it's good for both of you. Walking for just 2 minutes every hour. And if you think about it, 2 minutes is not much. And your work is giving you permission to do this. They're having this workshop here because they want you to be healthier. So it's okay to get up and do this. Parking a little bit farther from your entrance. Maybe there's a different parking ramp that's $1 cheaper, that's farther away. Well, it's also going to be helping you because you're going to be walking a little bit further. Maybe if you take the train in or a bus, getting off 1 stop earlier, getting up that 5 minutes earlier to take a little bit of walk. And just even standing and just stretching, even if it was for 10 seconds, really helps. So now we're going to take a little halfway break here and do some chair yoga. And so just being comfortable in your chairs here. We're going to sit, so we're going to be completely stacked here. So looking at our ankles, that they're directly underneath our knees. And then putting your hands onto your thighs and feeling your spine nice and straight. So we're feeling like the spine elongating all the way to the crown of the head. And now everybody bring your shoulders up, inhale up, and exhale them back. Okay, we're in proper posture here. How many people sit like this? So even when you're just sitting on your computer, just to even sit like this, now engage your core. Because you're kind of getting a workout, right? Just sitting here. So this is very helpful for that as well. And so as when I face you, I'm going to mirror you. So we're just going to inhale our hands up. And I'll connect them together and exhale, bring it to heart center. Yoga is good just to calm the mind. It's good mind, body, and soul exercise. We're going to start out with 2 nourishing breaths, and that is an inhalation for 4 through the nose and an exhalation for 6 through the mouth. And it helps clear your mind and nourishes us and just gets rid of any negativity that we may have in our body. So we're going to inhale our hands up. And exhale, blowing it out, bring your hands down. Exhale through the mouth. And inhale through the nose, bringing your hands up. And exhale through the mouth. And bringing your hands onto your lap. Does anybody just feel this a little bit calmer? It's just amazing what 1 little minute can help you do. And so now inhale those hands up. And now take your left hand and just bring them onto the side of your chair. Your bottom's just like more in the middle of your chair here. And take your right hand and just arch it over. And bringing your chest up towards the ceiling, looking up underneath that arm. And inhale up. And exhale, going over. Inhale up. And exhale over. Inhale up. And bringing that hand down. And inhale that right hand up. And bringing that other hand onto the chair. And exhale over. And inhale up and really reaching up to the ceiling. And exhaling over and letting that breath help you going farther. Inhale up. Good job, beautiful. Exhale over. And coming down. And I'm just going to show you another variation to the side stretch. So just take your right hand and just cross it over to your other knee. And then bring your other hand up. And now stretch over. You feel a little bit deeper stretch here. And coming down. Now we'll do the other hand, just crossing your hand over and inhale up and crossing over. So depending on where your flexibility is, if you have arms on your chair, if you don't, you can cross over and do some different things. We're going to do some shoulder rolls. We're going to start small and go big. So just inhale up and exhale back. Inhale up, going a little bit bigger. Exhale back. And almost all the way, inhale and back. And now as big as you can go. Inhale up and exhale back. Now we're going to go the opposite way. Inhale up and going forward, exhale. Inhale up, getting a little bit bigger. Exhaling down. Inhale up. Exhale forward. And now as big as your arms can take it, inhale up. And exhale, and just bring it down here. We're going to do what's called cat-cow, and that's what's in this third picture here. So it's kind of like you're looking like a cat if you were on all fours and then looking like a cow. This is really good for stretching our spine. So we're going to inhale neutral spine. And then we're exhaling, and we're bringing our abdomen in and curving our spine and curving our shoulders down. So we're getting that nice stretch in the shoulders. And now we're inhaling, we're releasing and bringing our chest up towards the ceiling. And our bottoms are sticking out, our gaze is looking up. And exhaling and bringing arching our back again to cat. And inhaling, looking up. And coming back to neutral spine. And just doing some wrist exercises here next. So think about when you wash your hands, but you don't have a towel. What do? We go like this. So just shake them all the way up as hard as you can, and shake them all the way down, and then bring them down. Just doing that, just adding that circulation, helps your muscles, helps you get more energy, and just bring your wrists up. And feel like you're trying to push a really heavy dresser right now. So just really go. And now we're going to do something silly, and we're going to push that dresser this way. And now rounding out your hands, keeping the palms towards you, and just bring those pinkies towards each other. Good job. And now going all the way the other side. And just bring your right hand down. Keep your left hand up. We can do this 2 different ways. One way is stretching those 4 fingers towards you in this direction. Or a little bit deeper stretch is taking the hand and having the fingers go down, just as pictured here, and pulling forward. And this is really good if you are on the computer. This is something that would be one to do every hour. And then don't forget that thumb, stretching that thumb out. This stretch should be for 20 seconds. So go into the other side. Again, you can go in whichever direction you want. This is a little bit more intense. So when you have more time, just thinking this for 20 seconds, you could be reading an email at the same time and then doing the thumb and coming down. And we're just grabbing each side of your chair here and making sure your bottom's in the middle of the chair, maybe or a little bit towards the end. We're going to lean back. We're going to lift up one leg. We're going to do some bicycle riding. Lift up the other one. And we're using our abs here. So again, you're reading your emails. You're at a meeting with your coworker. It's hard. And now exhale down. And think about if you did that every day, starting out for 10 seconds, then 30 seconds, and maybe a full minute or 2 minutes. You're getting a lot of exercise throughout the day. We're going to do one more exercise here, just taking out your left leg and just flexing that foot as hard as you can towards yourself. And we're going to inhale those hands up and just exhale, coming down with a straight back. We're going to go down 3 times, so inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, and exhale down. And quick go to the other side. Inhale up, exhale down, inhale up, really flexing those toes towards you. Exhale down, coming all the way up, and as far down as you can go. There. And how does everybody feel?
Awake.
Awake.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's amazing how we did that. You know, it didn't take very long, did it? So we're going to just run through the last tips here. This is always on every workshop I do, is drink more water. We tend to disguise being hungry. It's actually thirst a lot of times. And what is the first symptom if you're dehydrated? You're thirsty. So it's always too late. Yes, yeah, good. Have a sip of water right now. The best thing to do is to drink a full glass of water right when you wake up. Our bodies naturally detox, but we do not always have enough fluids to help the toxins come out. So it's an easy way to lose some weight and get some of those toxins out of your body. Anytime you feel hungry, drink a glass of water. At the school I went to, the Institute of Integrated Nutrition, we call that crowding out. When you have cravings, you crowd it out with water, with vegetables and different foods. It's about adding in instead of taking out to be in a healthier diet. And you can have fun with your water. Add some fresh mint, some berries, lemons, essential oils, anything like that. And if you're not sure how much water to drink, just think about your body weight divided by 2, and that's about the ounces you should drink. So if you're 150 pounds, that's about 75 ounces a day. But take into consideration if you're working out, if it's hot, all these will be different variables. Sleep. We know, right? Sleep is awfully important. So how we treat our bodies when we are awake and how we treat them when they're asleep, they're both equally important. So when you do not have a good night's sleep, you can feel it, right? Your performance is not up to speed. And when we don't get enough sleep, it can lead to health problems, weight gain, depression. But also, when you have that good, deep sleep, that's an indication that you're on a better way of health. Take a break. A lot of times we get so into our work and you feel like, oh no, I can't take a break because I just have too much to do. Again, your work is giving you permission to take a break, and not just a little break, but a real break. Try to just go eat with coworkers, go outside, disengage from work. Studies have shown that when you do disengage from work during your workday, you come back and you are more productive and you have a better thought process. If you can not eat lunch at your desk, this is a real challenge for me that I work on, because a lot of times I feel like I don't have time. But when you do, what happens? I go, oh, I was really looking forward to eating this soup. How did I eat this already? Because you weren't being mindful. Your brain was not knowing that you were eating as you were eating. So then what? I want to eat some more. So really pay attention to when you eat and try not to be distracted. And just working. A lot of times we bring our work home with us, and working can lead to a lot of stress. And we need to take care of our mental health as well as our physical health. It all comes around. Think positive. This one really helped change my life. That I always thought I was an optimistic person, but I had this negative internal way I was thinking. So when you change your thinking, you really do change your mood. It makes a huge difference in your life. And studies have said positive thinking actually does make you healthier. You know you can do it. You know you can be successful. And when you're positive to your coworkers, to your boss, to your clients, you can boost your creativity, and it also helps cope with any stressful situations that you may have. So just in conclusion, thinking about all the different steps I talked about today and some of the little tips within those steps, and thinking about what do you think that would be manageable for you. So if you would like, I would love to hear what some people are thinking. Does anybody want to start with something that they might want to put into action? Yep, go ahead. Try making the smoothies. And that's a fun one to start with. And when I first started making smoothies, I did about half vegetables, half fruit. Now I'm about 90% vegetables, but you want to get it so you will like it, and then just gradually work your way to more healthy. So, yep, that's a good one.
One thing I've done to drink more water is even to just buy that Crystal Light, because I just don't like plain water.
So she said like drinking Crystal Light.
You just throw a little bit in there just to flavor it.
So I would suggest flavoring with natural, real food, because when you have foods that have artificial ingredients, those are chemicals, and even though they are no calories, studies actually show that you will eat more because it doesn't have a hunger switch. This is on or off. It actually stimulates your hunger. So when you drink a Diet Coke, when you drink Crystal Light, you're actually damaging yourself more. Yeah, I have a whole workshop just on sugar addiction, so we could get more into that if you want me to come back another time. Anybody else that want to, when you say it out loud what you're going to do, you're more accountable as well.
I like to do the exercise.
Do some exercises.
I'm just struggling with how to remember.
Yep.
Remember what to do.
Yep. So, and I'll send you this PowerPoint so you can see those pictures. But, and we can use those resources of some YouTube videos just to do like a couple 1 or 2 minute exercises, and get your coworkers engaged as well and say, hey, what do you remember? What do we do? And it doesn't really matter what you do. Just get up and stretch and see what feels good with your body.
When I was at a branch office, my manager used to do the 3 o'clock stretch.
Oh.
She'd come out and make everybody stand up and stretch, and it was
The 3 o'clock stretch. I love that. That as a department, the manager would say, yep. And that's a really great thing for a department to be like just getting together and just to laugh and just to smile and take a break together. That's a really great point. And were you going to say something also?
I was going to say the chair yoga or the exercise.
Chair yoga. Okay, that sounds great. Yep.
I'm working on the sleeping one, and I have read that, and I'm doing it now, I 2 or 3 kiwis before I go to bed.
Okay.
And it really helps you. It doesn't help you to go to sleep, but it helps you to have deep sleep.
She eats 2 to 3 kiwis before she goes to bed, and it helps her to deep sleep. And one other theory that I absolutely believe in is bioindividuality. So sometimes one tip might work for one person, it might not work for you, and it's really finding out what is right for your body. So that is great that you found what you need, and there are certain foods that you will know that really are not good for before bed, and some that are better before bed. And it is setting yourself up and really thinking about not just, okay, I'm in bed, I'm going to sleep, but really preparing yourself and what you're eating when you're limiting, foods you're limiting before bed is more important. So, anyone else? Any questions for our last minute? Yes?
I noticed that you have a Facebook page, and I'm wondering what type of content you have on your Facebook page.
So on my Facebook page, I post one tip every day, and it's a wellness tip. Sometimes it's about nutrition, sometimes it might be about yoga, meditation, about just wellness in general. But it just helps you to be inspired, to be healthy. So I would love, feel free to like it and tell your friends, and have it be on your default list so it comes up right away, so you have that one message every day. Yeah. Well, thank you all so much, and I'll be here afterwards if you have any more questions, but pat yourselves on the back. You took a big step, right, to be here, and that's really the first step in being healthy, is just being inspired again, remembering what to do. A lot of these things you've already known, you probably have done, but sometimes it just takes that reminder to just get it into a daily practice.
I schedule the directors' meetings.
Yep.
I'm going to schedule her a walking meeting.
Yes, I love that, scheduling a walking meeting. And you know what, she's probably gonna be like, all right. And you work in beautiful downtown St. Paul. I mean, we are so lucky to have all these trails around us. So take advantage, especially right now in the summer. But yeah, and then in the winter, I mean, we have so many skyways in downtown St. Paul that it's 72 degrees all year long. I mean, we don't have an excuse to not get out.
Oh, we've got 100 steps here.
And 100 steps, yes. That's a good one. Good. Well, I love hearing that. Awesome. Great. Thank you all.